Y'all, we're gonna talk about books. Why am I so out of breath? I'm freaking out. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, so am I. I decided that I want to join BookTube, and the best way to join BookTube is to for me, just act like I've been here the whole time. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna kick it off with my December wrap up. Is there a cougar back there? I'm actually a little freaked out. In December, I read 5 books, which is awesome for me, especially for having just gotten out of a 3-month reading slump. I'm going to do these in the order I read them, which unfortunately means that we're starting with Done and Dusted. This is one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not exaggerating. But unfortunately, I'm so sorry. I gave it a 2.5. This is a story. This girl goes back. She's a barrel runner. I think that's what you call them. So she gets on a horse and she runs around barrels. And she got hurt, and now she's kind of scared to get back on a horse. She goes back home, and the story started, and I was super into it. I loved the atmosphere. It was a small town. Everybody knows each other. Her dad owns a ranch. Everybody's working on the ranch. And it was just so nice. The vibes were immaculate. And then I think the romance just happened too quickly for me. It was her best friend's brother, and they already knew each other, and it was just too quick. It was just too fast, and it was a lot of telling and not enough showing for my liking, unfortunately. There were moments in the book where the author was building up to a scene and they were going somewhere, and then once they got to that place to do the things that they were talking about doing, it just stopped, and the next chapter would describe what had happened at that place instead of showing us what happened at that place. And that's not something that I really enjoy in my books. So I just felt like it was a lot of opportunities to develop the different relationships in the book that were it was just missed opportunities. And listen, the spice in this book was disgusting. It was so cringy. It was unbearable. I usually skim spicy scenes. It's not for me. But the stuff in this book, ugh, y'all, maybe, I don't know, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because this book is very well loved on Goodreads last time I checked. So people loved it. People loved the romance. But for me, moving along. Anyway, the next book I read was Throne of Glass, and I gave it a 4. I finished ACOTAR in last year. Well, when this is out, 2023. Happy New Year. I finished ACOTAR, so this was next up, and it was great. It was a solid 4-star read. I really enjoyed it. You're following this girl, Selena, who is this incredible assassin, and she's been in jail. She's been in prison, really brutal prison in the mines. It's awful. And she has the opportunity to compete in a competition with other types of assassins to be the king's assassin. And the winner gets to get out of prison. That's how the book is described, but honestly, the book wasn't very am I the only one who feels like the competition really, that's not what this book was about. It was kind of like, okay, this is the first trial, that's over. This is all this crazy stuff that happens, and the next trial's coming up. There's just so much. The competition was more of a way to, like, it was just kind of like a way to set the scene. I feel like it wasn't really about a competition, so I do wish that there was a little bit more of that in the book, but I don't care. 4 stars. It was great. I can't wait to continue it, and we'll see how far I get with the series. Hopefully I'll finish it this year. But it's just great. I'm always happy to be in a Sarah J. Maas world. Next up was Caraval. Am I saying that right? Caraval. 3.75. Solid read. I want to read broken curse of a, you know what I'm talking about. I want to read that, and I just wanted the full experience, so I did want to start with the Caraval series before Broken Heart. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Cougar. I thought Caraval was a solid read. It's this game that comes along. The game hasn't been. Honestly, I don't know how to describe Caraval. At no point was I bored when I picked up this book. I really, really enjoyed picking up this book. I listened to a lot of it while I was reading. Just did a tandem. I love doing that. It helps me focus. And it was just enjoyable overall. But there were some things that I really hope are better fleshed out in book 2 and book 3. Mainly the romance. I had zero I had no feelings for the romance of this book. I don't understand why they liked each other. I don't understand. I don't get it. All this stuff was going on, and I was like, okay. I mean, good luck. I wish you the best, but I don't care. I'll definitely be continuing with the series. I thought it was just a solid. It was a solid first book, I think. But whatever. The next book I read was I listened to an audio called The Time Saving Mom. I gave it a 4-star. I don't know, this seems like a really random book, but I like listening to these types of books when I'm putting my baby down to bed at night. And this was a great faith-based productivity book. I thought she had a lot of great tips for moms, but also just honestly for anybody that I do intend to implement and try out in the new year. If you're a mother, you could definitely get some helpful things from this book. And I especially appreciated that she spoke to mothers in different parts of their motherhood journey, because she talked about, for example, time blocking. There's no way that I can time block with a toddler, running around after a toddler all day. And she addressed that. I appreciated that so much, because there's so many things in these mom productivity books that are for mothers that are further along in their journey than I am, and they're just not very applicable to me. And I thought this one was just a nice little motivational thing. It wasn't life-changing or anything, but it was fast, and it was, it was easy breezy beautiful. Okay? The last book I read this month was Snowed In. And listen, I know Christmas is over. Put this on your list for next Christmas season, or if you just want a wintry read that mentions Christmas, you don't mind that it mentions it's about Christmas, please read this. This book was so cute, and this never happens for me. I need you guys to understand that this does not happen to me. I was kicking my feet, I was giggling, I was just screaming, crying, throwing up. It was so good. 5 stars. This story kicks off with a runaway bride, and it fast forward a few years. She had moved away from the small town in Dublin, I think, and she's going back home, and her and this guy who are from the same small town decide, let's go back home together as a fake couple. And they meet each other's families, and it's so cute. And obviously they start to fall for each other. This is a romance. I love the family dynamics. I loved their chemistry. I loved their banter. I loved the pacing of this book. Everything was great. And look. This is not something I ever say, but the spice in this book wasn't cringe. It was great. It wasn't gross. I normally skim that stuff, and this was just not. It was great. Everything was fabulous. One thing, I don't know why this book is called Snowed In, because they get snowed in. It was past the 60% mark of the book. They're snowed in for a very short amount of time. So from the title, you would think this was some kind of forced proximity romance. It is not. So definitely don't be expecting that. But it is a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit of a slow burn. There's obviously an attraction there, but it doesn't get real until a little bit later. And guys, I don't know what to tell you. It's just a good one. I really enjoyed it. Those are all the books I read in December, and I'm excited to have the space to talk about books this year. I'm going to keep it casual. I'm going to keep it cool. I'm not going to stress myself out over this. And I just hope that I can find a little community here of people who, like the same books I do. I hope you guys have a happy new year and that you're enjoying this in between Christmas and New Year's time. I love this time of year. Thank you guys so much for watching if you made it this far, and I will see you soon.